Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your Ice Dragon, Rayron VR, and today we're going to talk about exactly where can we start getting into this hobby if we are interested. Now I'm going to share to you my story on how I got started and where you guys can potentially go if you want to get into this hobby. And so, I'll just get right into it. Basically, where I started was just like any other person for the most part, and that is Bachman. So Bachman is kind of hit and miss when it comes to this hobby. So it can be really cheap depending if you can find the vendor. Sometimes if you go straight through Bachman, it can be kind of expensive because their MSRP is really high in my opinion, but they do offer a variety of DC train sets. If you just want to hook up some track, run around the Christmas tree, or just have a floor layout, then this is the easiest and quickest way to get right into it. They offer this easy track system, which I'm actually a big fan of because it gives you everything that you need to really start having a railway. You're able to snap the track together, and then just hook it up to a controller, and you're pretty much off to the races. So they offer a wide variety of track crossovers, short track, long track, re-railers, switches, and then you got your power pack, and you're pretty much on your way. Now, if you want a train set, if you want to have a layout super quick, then this is my recommendation. But if you really want to get into DCC, I would offer some other suggestions as well. So obviously, another great place to go to is Amazon because sometimes you can get, again, going back to these Bachmann trains, you can get them pretty cheap. Here we have looks like a simple circle for $95 here. Again, cost is always relative when it comes to this hobby, so always take things with a grain of salt. And sorry about that, kind of knocking things over. So take everything with a grain of salt. We've got steamers here. We got diesels. We've got elevator track here. They come with this easy track expander kit. So again, there's a lot of hidden gems when it comes to Bachman if you're starting things out. Some other things that you can do is you can go over to Facebook. So give me 1 second here. Head on over to um, the Facebook. So what you can do is you can actually join Facebook groups. So this is one particular group that I have joined, and people will list their items for sale. Now, when it comes to Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and turn Facebook away here real quick. When it comes to Facebook, just be very careful on who you're talking to. Make sure you get plenty of extra pictures. Make sure if you're interested in something too, ask the seller if they will put their name and date onto the pictures themselves, because this is just one extra technique in order to kind of identify scammers, because there are unfortunately scammers when it comes to the Facebook page, and it's actually really easy to do. And so you just got to be careful and just be vigilant on sellers. But I have found some really rare items for cheap, and so far it's been a relatively good experience when it comes to the Facebook marketplace, and particularly when it comes to those groups. Now, the best way to get into this hobby, and again, this is from personal experience, your experience may vary, but I think the number one way to get into this hobby is through train shows. Train shows offer a wide variety of product. Sometimes, depending on the vendor, you may get some really good deals on train sets, on track, and you actually get to see, what scale may interest you. So this is basically the first I took from the San Antonio Mono Railroad Association's Jamboree train show. And as you can see, they've got some layouts. You can see all the tables and vendors and so forth. Now, again, this is basically going to be used stock or new stock, depending on what you can find. But if you look closely enough, you can find some great deals. And I can't stress enough, if you are close by to a train show, I highly recommend going. So that way you can just get a feel for the market as well. Because another thing that you can do with these train shows is, you can look around the vendors and get an average price of HO scale items, N scale, O gauge. And this gives you the most powerful thing about this hobby, and that is knowledge. You'll have the knowledge of what the going rate is when it comes to diesels, people here. It allows you to shop around, which is definitely one of the biggest things about this hobby. Is don't my advice again, just look around. You will always find some interesting deals, some sets, and you may have the opportunity to do a bargaining with the particular seller. So again, that's the big thing. If you want to get into this hobby, shop around, do some research, take that time because you just never know when you're gonna find some really really good deals. And if you're in the area of a local train show, a swap meet, or maybe you're part of a club, which we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. But if you're part of a club, you may be able to get some good deals through them as well, because sometimes you've got individuals that have passed away who are in the hobby and they've donated a large collection to clubs, museums, and they're going to sell it at a decently fair price. I cannot begin to tell you how much good stuff I've gotten just from the club that I'm part of, the San Antonio Mono Railroad Association. And I tell you what, it's been some of the great deals that it's even better than train shows. Another place, and good old Papa John will definitely contest to this, is that another good place to go to is estate sales. Look around, see who's doing estate sales, and you can get some really, really good bargains when it comes to DC, DCC, and so forth. So there's a wide variety of ways to get into this hobby. And again, it's basically you can make it as cheap as you want or as expensive as you want. So that's a great thing again about the sandbox hobby, the world's greatest sandbox hobby, is that you get to, feel for your budget, shop around, and figure out what does best for you. That's the great thing about it. There's a great way of variety. And also, you can go to your local dealers if you have a local store, hobby shop, or local dealer. Also, you can look online to see what you can get. Sometimes you'll get great discounts through YouTubers and affiliate programs and so forth. So, again, don't be afraid to shop around to get into this hobby and find that right scale that works for you at the right price that works for you. So, with that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.